Hello everybody, my name is Elena. I'm a university professor and also I'm a doctor of philosophy. I'm glad to welcome you to my channel Elena Zimorodek, and I hope that our meetings will be interesting and fruitful. And today we shall speak about one of the most interesting, mysterious, ancient, enigmatic sphere of human culture, about religion. Personally, I studied religions of the world more than 20 years. First it was my university, and then during next years I took part in different religious ceremonies. I studied different aspects of life of religious communities, different religious communities, and I should say that this experience had changed my personality, my soul, and it's like looking to the abyss of human nature. It's open, it helps you to open the new dimensions of yourself. So let's start with our religious studies. And our first topic for today is religion as a social and cultural phenomenon. And our main points, main questions for today are the following. First, the definition of religion, classifications of religions, and the function of religion. The second one is the key components of religion as a social phenomenon. And the third is religion and other forms of thought. So let's go. To study this sphere of science and this cultural phenomenon, religion, belief, you should first of all understand what it is. And that's why, first of all, we shall speak about the definition. What is religion? The thing that the etymology of this word, religion, is very complex. It has been debated for centuries. The English word clearly derives from the Latin root religio. It's reverence for the gods, or something connected with links maybe between people in religious community. Religion has been defined as a wide variety of in a wide variety of ways. Sociologists and anthropologists tend to see religion as something abstract sets of ideas, values, some social norms, experience, like a part of big cultural matrix. Other religious scholars, philosophers, and generally people who study this sphere of culture have put forward a definition of religion that avoids the reductionism of the various sociological and psychological disciplines that reduce this phenomena, this rich phenomena, to its social elements. And religion may be defined as the presence of a belief in the sacred or something holy. For example, Rodolphe Otto, in his famous book The Idea of the Holy, formulated in 1917, the essence of religious awareness as a unique blend of fear and fascination before the divine, before God or spirit or something sacred, something transcendental. Friedrich Schleiermacher in 18th century defined religion as a feeling of absolute dependence. On the whole, in general, religion can be defined as a form of consciousness, of worldview, and specific behavior and actions, because inside this phenomena we have such element as a cult. Cult, it's always about actions, some actions connected with religion. This worldview, these actions always are based on a belief of sacred power. It may be a god or a spirit or a lot of gods. And generally, in the European culture, the term religion is rather new term, because it spread only from the 16th century. Before this time, in this word hasn't no constant meaning. Instead of the terms belief, piety were used. There are some other terms which defined religion in Oriental culture. They are very popular in nowadays word like dharma. I think you have heard it. Earlier, it's Sanskrit word. In Islam, for example, it can be a word din. The Sanskrit word dharma has a large, very wide variety of meanings. Among them are law, righteousness, justice, religion, doctrine, piety, teaching, and a lot of them. It denotes, in general, values, norms, some rules which determine human life and the life of the whole universe. It always connected with the order of human life and social life in this reality. Arabian word din denotes a belief in Allah, his absolute power, his absolute wisdom, and that fact that everything in the world depends upon his will, if we speak about Islam. There are a number of models regarding the ways in which religions came into being and developed. Broadly speaking, these models fall into three categories. First category includes models which see religions as a social constructions. It's part of social science. Models, the second point, models which see religions as progressing toward higher objective truth. And the third model, connected with view on religion as a part of some absolute truth, something transcendent. The models are not mutually exclusive. Multiple models can be seen, may be seen to apply simultaneously, or different models may be seen as applying to different religions. Religion appeared something about 40 or 50,000 years ago. Very, very ancient times, really, in pristine society, and it was connected with the end of the long and very complex process of anthropogenesis and the development of speech. Because without speech we haven't no elements of abstract thinking, and without abstract thinking we cannot speak about some abstract categories which are characterized, which are innate characteristic features of our culture, such as belief, soul, God, spirit, good, evil, or something like that. And religious systems became more and more complex within social development of humanity. Therefore, religion is really social and cultural phenomenon. There is no accurate statistics about the numbers of religions in the world, present world. To investigate different religious systems, different types of their classification can be used, because really we can speak about thousands of the systems of belief, of worldview, religious worldview. And first of all, religions of the world can be divided into two categories: dead and modern. Dead religions are those religions which haven't alive representatives. It's, for instance, a religion of ancient Egypt or religion of ancient Rome or Greece, because we haven't alive representatives of them in our modern life, really. Yeah? And modern religions are those which have followers, which have alive modern representatives. For instance, it's such very famous and great systems as Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and others. Also, we can say about the division of religions into natural and religions of the revelation. Natural systems, religious systems, are those which have no certain founder. They appeared naturally because some people lived on some territory and worship sun, fire, other powers of nature, and during its social and historical development appeared these or that religious systems. Other category is the religion of the revelation. They have a certain founder always, and it can be prophet or saint who attained, who had some revelation from the heaven. And most of modern religions, of course, they are the religions of revelation, not natural. Also, we can speak about the division of religions into polytheistic and monotheistic. Polytheistic religions are those which have inside of their systems belief in great variety, great number of gods. And monotheistic, it's always belief in one God. And of course, Christianity and Islam are bright examples of monotheistic religious systems. The most popular classification of religions is following. First part of this classification is represented by Christian forms of religions such as fetishism, totemism, animism, and etc. The second part, it's national and state religions. Some religions can be named national and state simultaneously because they in the law of some countries we have definite status, official status of this or that religions as official religion. For example, the religion Hinduism, it's an official religion of modern India, or Judaism is official religion of Israel. And sometimes we can speak only about the national status of some religious systems because it is spread on the territory of a certain state or group of states. For instance, Taoism is Chinese religion. Or if we speak about ancient times, we can say that was national religions of Rome, of ancient Egypt, and so on and so forth. And the third group is the greatest group, because it is represented by three main religious systems of modernity. They are Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. And the most popular religion now, if we speak about the number of disciples, is Christianity, and exactly Catholic Christianity. And the fourth group is the most interesting to my mind, because it is represented by a great variety of modern religious systems. And here we can speak about different mystical trance and systems, worldview systems. Sometimes it's a mixture of Oriental mysticism and Occidental culture, and a lot of them are very interesting. And what about the main functions of religion? The thing that religion has a lot of functions, and some of them connected with psychology, some of them connected with social life, but generally speaking we can mention 6 main functions of religion, and they are: first, forming of the worldview, because religious worldview is very complex and strict system, which is always based on a belief in something sacred. And of course we have another ways of another pictures of the world, ways of how we see this reality, such as philosophical way, the way of art, the way of science, but among them religious always has its specific place. And the second function is the regulator function. It is connected with religion as a factor of the factor which regulates people's relationships, because every religious systems always contains inside of it some norms, some values which defines human life and human relations. For instance, in Islam there are great variety of rules. For instance, how to use your clothes, how to take gifts, or how to communicate to other people. Different rules for every situation of life. And it's very comfortable in some sense, really, because you know exactly how you should behave in society to have to be closer to the God. And the next function of religion is the normative function. It denotes the aspect of religion connected with its help to form of social norms and values. The next function is integrative function. Religion always unites and sometimes disunites people, but in most of cases really it's a factor of integration. And even if we speak about great cultures, we can speak about it, about classification of cultures of the world in the terms of religions. For instance, we can say Islamic civilization, or Christian civilization, or civilization of Buddhism or Hinduism or other religions. And really great number of people who believe in the same things, who share the same values, they can change a lot in society. And the fifth function of religion is communicative function. A religion provides the communication between people through creating common values, common worldview, common attitude to different things of this world. And the last function of reality is compensational function. The thing that religious faith helps people to get over difficulties, over different obstacles and problems of this life, and formulate their aims for the future. Really, priests were first psychologists in ancient times. And religion has been studied by ancient Greek philosophers such as Democritus, Anaxagoras, Socrates, Plato, and others. Then it was studied by the thinkers of Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment, and here we can speak about such names as Bacon, Hobbes, Spinoza, other famous philosophers. But as a separate study, a separate science, separate direction of scientific studies appeared only in the end of the 18th century in Europe. And from this point, from this period, we can speak really about the formation of religious studies as a separate sphere of science. And today there are 5 main disciplines which deal with religions. They are, first, and the most ancient, it's of course philosophy of religion. It's a study of philosophical background, a philosophical understanding of religion, religious problems, religious beliefs. It should not be confused with religious philosophy, because it's completely another thing. It's, for example, philosophy of Buddhism, philosophy of Christianity. It's when we see religious systems not from outside point of view, but from inside. Yes, when we are in the system, when we are the believers of it. And if we speak about the philosophy of religion as a part of religious studies, we always try to see religion as an object of scientific explanation, scientific research. The second big part of religious studies is sociology of religion. Sociology of religion is the study of religion as a social system, a system of social links, social communications, types of social communities, and etc. The third part of religious studies is very interesting and very deep. It's a psychology of religion. It's a study of psychological aspects of religious experience, of different great variety of experience really we have in the sphere. And I think that a lot of people have this some maybe elements or have this experience. For instance, very popular nowadays is some Oriental practices like meditations, like yoga and other. And of course, psychology of religion deals with such psychological phenomenon as some shamanic practices and some states of mind that connected with experience of something transcendent, something that we haven't in our everyday life. The next part of religious studies is Phenomenology of Religion. I think that you understand this word, phenomenology. It's a philosophical word, and it denotes the study of the basic notions of religion, such as sacred, such as good and evil, sacred and profane, etc. And the fifth part of religious studies is history of religion, and during our meetings we shall speak first of all about the history, the historical development of religious views, starting from the ancient times, from Christian times, when people lived in caves, and up to modern times, our modern life. And all these disciplines are closely connected with each other, of course, and they are part of integral sphere of human knowledge, religious studies. Let's continue with our topic, and our next question is the key components of religion. And here we should say that there are several of them, and the main components of every religious system are belief. Of course, if it's, in this situation we speak about religious belief, because also we can speak about non-religious kinds of beliefs, such as belief in communism or in democracy or in yourself. Yes, different of them, but in this context we speak about religious belief. And next component is religious doctrine. Then it should be mentioned a religious cult. It's always connected with actions, and religious organization. The main characteristic feature of religious belief are first, individual character. Every religious system has its structure, which plays the role of medium between God and human. And this process, the process of communication, is always very personal, very individual. The second is personal attitude to the object of belief. And the third, of course, is the emotional character of religious belief, because religion and politics are maybe the most emotional spheres of human culture. And the religious emotions is a topic, is an object of separate investigations of psychology of religion. In general, we can define the notion of religious belief as a specific psychological state of absolute agreement with some statement without a sufficient ground. And the main difference between religious and non-religious kinds of beliefs is that religious belief is always connected with sacred, with some transcendent object, some transcendent experience. Religious doctrine is a systematic account of the content of religious beliefs in dogmas. And in many religious systems, doctrines are described in a certain holy text. For example, Bible, the Holy Bible in Christianity, and Quran or Tripitaka if we speak about Buddhism. But sometimes when we deal with unliterary societies, we haven't such text. For example, ancient Celts in Celtic culture, they hadn't such texts, and the whole religious tradition was oral. Next component of every religious system is cult. Religious cult can be defined as a system of certain individual and collective actions such as rituals, ceremonies, which help people to communicate with the object of their belief in some mysterious way. The most popular religious rituals are very common. It's vows, sacrifices, prayers, and I believe that all of you have such elements in your everyday life or had it before. A religious cult maintains a religious belief and help people to feel their unity with God and the integrity with their religious community. And the last main part, the main element of a religious system is community, religious organization, in other words. And generally we can define this notion, the notion of religious organization, as a union of believers belonging to a certain religion, which is run in most cases by priests, spacious people who have spatial status among other members of religious community. Every religious organization has several main stages of development, several phases. First and the simplest one is religious group. What is group? It's usually a really small number of people, a few people who take part in collective religious rituals. In religious group, often the property of its members is used, and the main characteristic features of religious group are voluntary membership. You can attend these ceremonies or not attend them. The second, high regularity of cult. For instance, you have some ceremonies or meditations or other things like that every Friday. And then next feature, absence of hierarchically organized leadership. Because if we have this feature, we can speak about more complex, more high level of organization, of religious organization. And next step, next level of organization is a religious community. Sometimes we can speak about communities as a general term for all groups of believers, but in scientific context, religious community is one of the most popular forms of religious organizations. It should include usually no less than 10 members of age, according to the law of, for instance, Russia or Ukraine or a lot of other countries. But in some countries we have another laws, another situation. Then the next type of religious organization is denomination. This word came from a Latin root denomination, which means to give a name, It's a religious organization on the stage of structural development, when it's in the process of forming of different aspects of its life, and it denotes also the belonging of a person to a certain religious system. And the highest, the most complex type of religious organization is the church. Church, it's not only some building like Christian church, or if we speak about Catholic church, Orthodox church. Now we speak about church as about abstract notion. It's the most highly centralized union of people, and in this sense we can speak about not only Christianity but also about other systems, other religious doctrines, about Eastern or Western types of them. And if we speak about church, it's always union of priests and common believers. So we have leaders, certain leaders in this community, and in the church, all these people, priests and believers, constantly keep up and coordinate a religious cult. Some actions which are connected with the worship to some sacred nature, sacred beings. Religion has usually two aspects, two sides, and in everyday life we often meet the external part. External part, also called exoteric. And if we speak about inner part of religion, is esoteric part, mysticism, and inner doctrine. Unlike esoteric side, esoteric aspect of religious system deals with the specific spiritual way of life, which gives to a personality an opportunity of cognition of some mysterious spiritual world. And from the external point of view, from the external aspect, religion deals with social organization, with social structure, with specific roles inside the religious community, with some rules which form the behavior of people. And it's also connected with the understanding of social reality and what is truth, what is good and evil. So it closely connected with some ethical questions. There are different views on the structure of religion. Religious scholars usually relate religious ideas, actions, emotions, feelings, and organizations to the internal side of religion. And if we speak about external side, it includes religious worldview and way of life, such as morality and some spiritual orientations, worldview orientations. And also today we should speak a bit about such question as religion in the context of another ways of worldview, another ways of thought. And if we speak about alternative ways of thought, of course, the most popular, the most important of them are science, philosophy, and mythology. And in reality, all of these ways of thinking or ways of worldview are closely connected with each other. But in historical aspect, the mythology is the first and the most ancient way of view of the worldview of understanding of this reality. And if we speak about mythology, we also always should understand that it in its original meaning, it is connected with the pristine times, with the times when people didn't divide reality and dream and fantasy. And for instance, in those times, man could think about his family, his nature, like for instance his origination from wolf or from rain or sun, if we speak about totemic beliefs, totemic mythology. And nowadays also we have different examples of mythology in political life, in marketology, because to have good trade, we should manipulate in some way social consciousness with the help of myths, with social myths, and also if we speak about political life, now a lot of people are professional myth makers, so-called, yes, and they can draw form the image of some politician as some sacred image, the image of very powerful and influential and clever person whom you can trust during the elections, yes. And if we speak about religion, it originated later than mythology, and now every religious system includes mythology as a part of it. And later in human society appeared more complex, more integrative way of thinking. It's philosophy. Philosophers always try to look at this world from different points of view, and philosophy and science, sometimes we can distinguish them, sometimes not to do this, because philosophy always use scientific facts, scientific knowledges, and try to compose, to integrate all these elements into the whole worldview system. So philosophy is the most integrative way of worldview, of thinking, and gives us the most objective view of reality. And also in modern religious systems, we can, and not only modern, if we speak about past times, we always can find some elements of philosophical worldview in them, inside of them. And a lot of philosophers try to analyze, try to explain the nature of religion as a cultural, as a social phenomena, not only nowadays but also far ancient times. For example, in ancient Greece, ancient Greek philosophers were first people who tried to investigate, to explain what is religion, what is a religious belief. And it became possible because of different factors, of course, but first of all because of the freedom of thought, the first elements of democracy. Of course, it was so-called slave democracy, because not all people took part in elections. Only, that it were only free Greeks, citizens of some polis, city-states, yes, Greek city-state. In this context, we can't speak about women, about children, about foreigners, and in general it was only 5% of population. But it was the first of ancient democracy, when people could meet on some place, and in square, for instance, and try to discuss some questions also about the religious questions, religious aspects of their life. So generally we can speak that all types of human thinking, of human worldview, social worldview, such as mythology, religion, philosophy, and science, are closely connected in modern life, and to have deep understanding of human culture and of religion, religious belief, we can sometimes, we should speak about other elements, other way of thinking. So it's all for today, and I hope our meeting was interesting for you. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Elena Zimarodek, and may the God or gods or spirits bless you in your life path. I wish you good luck,